It's the Joe Padula Show, Clarksville's conversation.
Absolutely. So will you now have to show a vaccine passport to travel? And, yeah. All right. Well, first things first.
Don't we live in a free country?
Make sure to hit the notification bell, subscribe, start typing in those comments. Are you for a vaccine passport or are you against it? Let us know and let us know why. Okay, first we'll start off with Casey Bryant. For or against having a vaccine passport to travel?
Way against.
Way against.
Yes.
Okay, 2 reasons why you're way against.
Because I don't know, I feel like it should be our right to get a vaccine if we want to. I don't have anything against those that feel like it's what their choice, what they want to do. But I personally do not want to take a vaccine, and I don't want to be made to take a vaccine because I think it's imposing on my rights.
Okay, I'm throwing it over to Robert Russell. Robert. Okay, pro or against mandatory vaccinations for travel?
Pro.
Pro, okay. Why? 2 reasons.
Well, we already have limitations on freedoms that we have to. We already have passports. So what does it matter if we dictate what vaccinations you've had for the good of the populace, right? And then, yeah, that's it. That's really it. That's it.
Now, what about the not allowing people to board planes if they do not have a vaccination passport?
Sure. You can't board a plane if you don't have a passport.
So, but if you got a passport, I don't have a passport. I can still travel from Tennessee to New York.
Yeah, domestically.
Right.
Sure. Oh, you're talking about a domestic passport. Yeah, it's just another filter. You can't get on a plane if you don't go through security. You can't go on a plane if you don't have a ticket. There's all kinds of things we do. Why not just have a vaccination passport?
But what if you don't have a vaccine?
If you don't, then you don't get a vaccination passport.
Then you can't travel.
Yeah, you can't. Well, you can travel. You just can't travel by plane.
Wow.
There's a difference between traveling in your own car and then putting your infectious disease-ridden body into a tube with other people. Hello?
But if you have a vaccine, why does it matter?
Because it makes you inoculated against the disease.
Now, if someone has the vaccine, aren't they safe from getting the disease?
Yeah, but they're less able to be communicable to other people.
Mikey, yeah, it's going to your court. You're for this also?
I'm completely against it.
Why? Why against it?
Actually, I'm on my TikTok. I asked you.
Okay, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And one of the people actually said on here, and it was a great reason against it. It violates HIPAA laws.
Right.
It does.
Okay, I can understand that argument where you're revealing some of your medical records in a public setting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a good explanation. Thanks. I should have used that as my own.
Bay, now you've never flown.
Nope.
Right? Never been in a plane.
Nope.
What are your thoughts on people being forced to
Are they going to test everybody else against all the other diseases out there, like STDs? You gonna make people carry passports for that stuff too?
So you're saying even more common diseases and illnesses that are out there other than COVID?
There's still other stuff out there that kill you.
Right.
Just like COVID.
That's just a mile high passport.
It's interesting.
You gotta have sex to get AIDS.
It's
I'm just saying.
Because
Mr. Philadelphia over here. Gosh.
The mortality rate of the swine flu was a lot higher than COVID-19.
And we didn't have a lockdown then.
And there was no mention of a vaccination passport. Also, the mortality rate was so much higher also for Ebola. Ebola in the late 70s. And there was no topic or conversation about a vaccination passport. So why? What is, if the one reason is to secure traveler safety, what would be another reason why someone would be pushing a vaccination passport?
Control.
Control of what?
Control of everything.
Okay.
They're talking about having it be much more than just a passport to get on an airplane. You're going to have to show it everywhere you go. I think that's just the first step.
I think I've heard these words before, but as the papers in order? Now, if you are in...
You're not that old.
Thank you. What an insulting compliment.
Not even Jewish.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee. I oppose vaccine passports. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee will support legislation to prohibit any government-mandated COVID-19 vaccine passports. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signs executive order prohibiting use of vaccine passports. Texas governor bans vaccine passports with executive order. That is Greg Abbott, Texas governor. Also, Georgia governor Brian Kemp opposes state mandated vaccine passports. Okay. So, if the federal government does go down, because it has been put that the Biden administration. Let me pull up the quote there, because I was watching Psaki there, the press secretary. Not a fan of hers. Just not a fan. I wish her well, and I want her to be well, but I don't like her style. White House press secretary Jen Psaki, and plus she has a silent P in her last name. I don't like that. I'm not a silent P person. She confirmed this week that the White House is working with private companies to develop a vaccine passport, telling reporters the administration will, quote, make some recommendations throughout the process.
My aunt had a good point.
What did she say?
She said, and what are they going to start charging us for the COVID vaccine in the next years?
Oh, follow the money?
Mm-hmm.
Your aunt said that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Better get them now while they're free.
And she lives in California.
Oh, she's a Cali
she has
girl.
Different, yeah.
Yeah. You know, the restricting people's travel. Here's why I don't think it will go through. Okay. Because, like you said, follow the money, and follow the money of the airlines, and the people that, like myself, I just don't want to get vaccinated.
Sure.
So there you go. Now Delta, United Air, never going to get my money.
Let me ask a question.
Yes, what's
Why
up?
did you get vaccinated for all the other diseases?
Because I was drugged and forced to.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So you would have never been vaccinated
No.
if you hadn't been forced to be vaccinated.
No. Yeah, I get it. You know, I understand. Like, I don't get the flu shots. The stuff they put in my body in the Army. Let's see, I got anthrax put in my body, for crying out loud.
Sure.
You know, but yeah, if I didn't have to, while I was being employed by the U.S. government to kill Al Qaeda and Nazis, that was back in the day, I wouldn't have got it. And to those who want to get it, sure. You know, you do you.
Sure.
You know, I am more of a immune booster, if you will.
Sure.
I take my zinc every day. I take my vitamin D3 every day. I take my apple cider vinegar with the mother every day.
Sure. My
immune system. I think we should really be promoting immune boosting systems.
Yeah. No one's arguing that.
And
right? you should be healthy for yourself, right? But if you can become infectious and pass it to somebody else, then you should do everything you can to not do that also.
Of course. Now, what if you already had it?
Well, there's a lot of ifs there. But what we're talking about in this scenario is a passport that says you've been inoculated. And I really think, honestly, I think the feeling that I get from what everybody else said is that it seems to be infringing on your rights. Okay.
We could get into the history of that too.
Okay, let's do that.
You know, where was that? Massachusetts, back in the day, when they were having the what was the big outbreak that was going on the turn of the century?
What was that? 1920
Spanish flu.
And I think it was the one prior to the Spanish flu.
Okay.
And from what I understand, and I wish I memorized it, but I don't have it pulled it up. But the government, the local government, was putting, these that you had to get a certain type of so-and-so what they were doing to cure a disease.
Yeah.
If not, 5 out of 5.
Well,
it came to the Supreme Court ruling saying, no, you cannot.
Okay.
And so now you're having the government forcing businesses, privately owned businesses, to comply with a forcing of a medication.
Sure.
And that's where the water is going to get real murky with making this into law.
So I think it's really a semantic problem, right? Because no one is forcing you. Like forcing you would mean that everything would shut down and you would have to show up and somebody's going to stick you in the arm physically, right? That's a force. That's against your right as a person to decide that it's not for you. What they're doing is they're trying to incentivize you to get the vaccine by limiting what are not your rights. You do not have a right to get on a plane. That is not a right. That is a privilege that a company has offered you if you're willing to do all these things that we normally do. Go through security, buy a ticket, don't eat peanuts on a plane. We do all kinds of things to facilitate these privileges. So they're trying to incentivize you to get the vaccine, because what they don't want to do is force you to get the vaccine.
But that... Go on,
ahead.
Casey.
I think the difference is, and I know where I'm passionate about it, is how is it fair? Like, so your argument is that I would be infecting you, right? I could possibly be infecting you and harming you. Well, I believe that the vaccines are harmful to my body. So how is that like mutually? You get what I'm saying? So you're saying that's your argument, but that's my argument too.
Yeah, that's completely fine.
The other things that you talked about on the airplane, I'm sorry, but finishing my point, the other things that you talked about on the airplane, those aren't hurting me. Those aren't hurting my body by not eating peanuts. It's not hurting my body to go through security. I don't believe it is, at least.
So if you were on a plane and it didn't hurt you to eat peanuts, but it hurt the person next to you to eat peanuts, you would eat peanuts.
But not eating peanuts doesn't hurt me. You get what I'm saying? Like having that rule doesn't hurt me by not eating peanuts, but forcing me to take vaccination.
Have you done the research on peanuts?
I believe.
To go into the simple question of if someone sitting next to me has a peanut allergy, and I like peanuts,
They better have their opinion.
All I'm saying is that we do all kinds of things.
like, what is that person going to do for me since I'm going to go out of my way for them?
All I want to say.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Quid pro quo.
Yeah, we wait for common good to come back around. This is karma, right? We put good things out and we expect it to come back at some point in time. It might not be instant karma, but it might be good karma later on by doing.
I think karma's a tough argument to win over on this one.
All I'm saying is that there's a level of force that is not being executed on the populace, and you have been incentivized, which I think is a fair plea by the powers that be, to say if you want to fly, which is a privilege, then you should get a vaccine. And if you don't want to fly, you can still travel.
It's going to fall under, and there's these constitutional lawyers out there already working on this, where I believe is falling under the Fourth Amendment, where it goes restriction of travel.
Okay.
And I think that's really where it's going to get really ugly. Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
Whose money bills these plane, like Delta? Whose money that bills these flight people, right? Delta and all that? Who bills them out of all these financial things? Our money. Our taxpaying money
the politicians that choose to give them the money is the ones.
Those representatives.
This is how you can settle that problem.
How's that, Bang?
You have one that been vaccinated and non-vaccinated flights. There you go.
Like smoking and non-smoking
Sure.
Gonna put me in there with chickens and goats.
Here was Julie Green said, "What happens when they say my child can't go to school without a COVID vaccine? Then what? Because that's what's next. Your kid can't go to school if they're not vaccinated."
Yeah, they have to be vaccinated.
They have to be vaccinated to a point by why are we so okay with
COVID vaccinated?
Not COVID vaccinated. We're talking about why are all the other vaccines okay, but this one is the lethal death of your infringement on your rights. I just don't get it.
I think it's woken a lot of people up to the vaccination mandatory. I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? But I've always just do it, right? But again, you say just do it, then government will include, okay, we got them, so now just do this, just do this, just do this, and now it's more and more and more. Again, where does it stop? If it just do it because the government told you to without questioning, that's going to lead to so many more, like mandatory. We were watching the video on the nose masks. Is that going to be a mandatory? I mean, is it going to be forced vaccination eventually, the point where they're going to say, either you get the shot or we're going to force it on you?
I just would like to see where the state of the United States would be, what state we would be in, if we had the same concept around the polio vaccine that we have about the COVID-19 vaccine. Like, how much more polio did the United States need to suffer under before everyone just did their due diligence, vaccinated themselves, and we've eradicated it from the earth?
Could I catch polio by coughing on someone?
I don't remember how you could catch polio.
I don't think so.
It was very contagious, though.
I don't think it was like...
it was super contagious, especially to kids, and that was the thing. I think that's what the difference is. I think we have a cultural problem where it affects old people, and it kind of dilutes us, because if it affected our children, we would all line up. If you could give your kid a death disease and take it home, or a disabling disease, you would get in line.
And here's another reason why, and I kind of brought it up earlier on why this won't go forward. These states, and it's going to be a majority of the states, are not going to have mandatory vaccine passports. So does that mean someone from California cannot fly into Tennessee? Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if that's going to be the case,
can we make that a law?
Then it's going to be the money part, where the airline businesses are just going to be like, listen, we're losing billions of dollars in business.
No, that's where they're going to have the.
I mean, if we can't, if you have 5 people on this plane flying into Tennessee, I mean, it's going to get interesting.
Joan Rummel said polio was not invented.
Oh,
that was a good one.
CCC.
Good throw into it.
That was
man, y'all are too damn smart.
I love it. Hey, keep those comments coming. All right, let us know what you think, because we do got to move forward here. But yeah, hey, at least you heard where we stand on it, and I thought some good points were made, except from Robert.
It's the only reason you have me here.
No, I love it, man. Dude, I love it. Free thinkers of Clarksville. I'm telling you, it's a conversation that needs to be had. And nobody's throwing anything at each other. Nobody's deleting yet. I'm out. I'm out. Send, delete, block.
Get the beeper ready.
I can't stand it.
Those are just the monsters talking, Mike.
Oh, my God.
I'm so jacked right now.
It's the Joe Padula Show. Bada bing. Clarksville's conversation.